It was just so great. It was so transparent, so honest.
I think this is something that all moms can relate to because it's not all sunshine and rainbows. And Emily was very transparent about that. She was hilarious. Her fifth takeaway, I'm still laughing.
When the going gets rough, you know how the saying goes. Sometimes things happen. Life happens, and it's not always our fault. In this podcast, we'll feature real-life testimonials from people like you, from good times to bad, funny memories and hard lessons learned. Everyone has a story, and everyone has been there. From business owners to parents to young adults, the Hive 5 aims to tell stories of overcoming the struggles of adulting while celebrating the little victories of life. In each podcast, our guests will give insight to 5 key takeaways from someone who's been there and done that, leaving you better than when you started. Thanks for listening today. My name is Kagan with BriteBee.
And this is Catherine with BriteBee.
And today on the High Five, we are glad to have Emily Thomas with us. Emily is first and foremost a mom, but also the creator of the Struggle Well Project and the host of the Mom Struggling Well podcast. Thanks for being on, Emily.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Well, let's just get started in this. Tell us a little bit about what Struggling Well, what does that actually mean, and what's that project that you're doing?
You know, it's so funny because the show was called Mom Struggling Well, and I recently just changed it to the Struggle Well Project. So because I found that I was not, nobody comes to me for parenting advice. I don't know what that says about me, but nobody asked me how to be a good mom. So anyway, the way that it kind of started was that I felt like I just needed to try a little harder or get up a little earlier or, do a couple more jumping jacks. And then I could get past my problems so I could enjoy my life. And I had a friend say, we're always going to have trouble. And even in the Bible, it says, Jesus says, in this world, you will have trouble. But for some reason, I thought that didn't apply to me or didn't apply to today or whatever. But he was right. We were going to have trouble. So instead of waiting till the problems were over to enjoy my life, my friend said, we just have to struggle well through them. And it was mind blowing, for reals. I thought if there was a problem, I had done something wrong. So it was a paradigm shift that happened way too late in my life. So then I felt like the Lord was telling me, you need to lean into this role of mom because my kids came to me through adoption. We struggled with infertility for 6 years. And so when they finally came, having real life kids is way different than having make-believe kids. And I was not that good at my real life kids as I thought I was going to be. And so I found myself starting businesses and doing all kinds of other things to avoid my role as mom.
Yeah.
Because it's really thankless and dirty and, you try so hard. I'm a person that I'm going to give 110% and then they're going to complain about the dinner. I'm like, you have no idea that
right.
I made these chicken nuggets from scratch because I want you to have so much nutrition right now, Anyway, so God just kind of was like, listen, I want you to start a podcast and I want you to lean into this role of mom and the concept of struggling well. And so anyway, I've been doing that for 3 years.
Wow.
What does it mean? I don't know.
What does this mean? What does it look like in your daily life of struggling well?
I think that in the general sense, it's whatever ditch you tend to fall into where you tend to I tend to be depressed. That's kind of the thing that I'll go to, or I tend to be a little bit negative. I don't know if you're familiar with the Enneagram. It's a personality test, but on the Enneagram, I'm a 1. You've never heard of it?
No, I haven't. I'm going to have to take it now.
What is it called?
Enneagram, ENNEGRAM. Okay. It's a really ancient, there's 9 personality types. Kind of looks like a pentagram. It has nothing to do with it.
Okay, that's good.
But, just so you know. But it's 9 personality types. And whereas a lot of the personality types, personality tests tend to be kind of a little boxy, this is how you are or whatever. I feel like the Enneagram shows you how to be better and what you tend to do when you're not in a good place and what you tend to do when you're in a good place. Anyway, it's fascinating. But in the Enneagram, I'm a 1. So the perfectionist, I have a really loud inner critic and anything that's out of place or wrong jumps out at me. So I'm not trying to be negative. That's just all I see. Whereas some personality types, they don't see it. They're I have friends who are so happy all the time and things would be on fire and they would just be noticing how how nice and warm it is, things like that's just all perspective. Right.
Yeah.
So I think, anyway, being a mom, it was really tricky when all I saw was the things that weren't going right. And so struggling well for me is picking out the things that are going right in the ways that there is progress, even if it's just really tiny. But everyone's struggling well looks different for everybody, depending on, where the struggle is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's so great that we were able to have you on, because in our description of the High Five podcast, we talk about the struggles of adulting. So this is perfect.
Yes.
And the struggle is real.
And the struggle is real. So when did you start the adoption process? When did that all happen?
My husband and I were serving overseas. We were teaching English, and we discovered there that we weren't getting pregnant, and we thought we were doing it right, but it just wasn't happening. So, anyway, for 6 years, we tried, and it just didn't work. So then when we got home, we started looking at, it's such a personal choice. Like, how are you going to get kids? And people think we're so amazing for adopting, but really we just wanted kids and we weren't making them on our own. And so, you can do IVF and all that stuff. But for me, the money for IVF, you could turn around and have nothing at the end.
Yeah.
So that felt like a really big risk for me. And then for me, and this is not a judgment on anything else. I have such good friends who do IVF. I think it's great. But we were just our hearts were kind of turned toward the kiddos who were currently here who needed family. And God kind of helped me let go of, you want them to look like you. Like I wanted not that I want more people to have this space, but you know what I'm saying? Like you just want to know what's it going to look like if you have a baby. And I wanted the pregnancy experience and all that stuff. And like slowly those things just kind of fell away. And I realized like all that stuff is kind of not as big of a deal to me as providing a home for a baby who's already here that needs it. And so anyway, we head towards adoption. We wanted to adopt older kids because those are the ones that have a really hard time being adopted, like a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
In my brain, it was like a 10-year-old little boy. And I don't know why, but he had bright red hair. But anyway, God's like, oh no, actually it's a little brunette 2-year-old girl. So got that wrong.
2-year-old. That's a good place to start.
2-year-old girl. Yeah.
No way to work into it.
I lost her at Target right away. I forgot I was a mom. I mean, I had 30 minutes notice that I was a mom, and then I took her to Target, lost her. So yeah, there's a reason why when they pop out, they don't move on their own.
That's awesome. Well, so tell us, you also have a wellness course, is that right?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I hate working out. I hate jumping a lot. And I have a friend, and her name's Elisa Keaton, and she has a ministry called Revelation Wellness. And I have to say it slow because her book is called Wellness Revelation. So I am always like, which one is first? Anyway, and so she just has a way of bringing together the gospel and fitness in a way that I never bought into it before. I was always like, this is cheesy. And if you put like a picture of Jesus on the wall and say we're like doing Jesus aerobics, that doesn't make me any more excited about it.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. But she does it in a way that is not cheesy. And what I love about it is that when God called her to do it, she was like, no way. That is dumb. I'm not doing that. But so it just has changed my life paradigm wise. Like, how does God see me? It's too much to even go into, but you can become an instructor through her. And so even though I hate jumping and even though I don't even like working out at all, the way I think about food, the way I think about myself, the way I think about God and how he thinks about me is completely different since I've gone through this course. And so now I take other women through it.
So is it something you do more so online, or is it actually you go to a gym, or what does that look like?
There are people who teach classes throughout the country. There's lots of instructors are getting trained every couple times a year. They have a training. And so there's lots of them. But for me and for my podcast and most of my work is online, I have the opportunity to just do like we're doing a Zoom call. And I take about 20 women through a couple times a year. It's really good.
That's awesome.
So no one can see this Zoom call, but we just have to give a brief description of what we're seeing right here. So when she came on, she's in a closet. Like, it's perfect. Honestly, it's the perfect place to podcast, but it was just really funny, especially when you said like perfection and everything else. I was like, you are in a closet right now.
But on this, you can't see this side. It looks like an office. and it
Oh,
looks
that's
perfect.
funny.
That's
That
Like
is
a perfect office. Yeah.
That is hilarious. We're
I
gonna
only
buy
get
you
to have like 20 shirts in here. It helps me keep my clothes down to a minimum too.
Yeah, very good for echoing too.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, obviously, you do all of this because of your experience as a mom. Tell us a little bit about your family and how you work to balance being a mom yourself, but also helping other moms.
Okay. So I have a husband. He's an engineer. He's so lovely. A lot of engineers are not that kind of social.
Yeah.
He's like a social engineer. I don't know.
Thank the Lord for that.
I know. It's great. And then I have a daughter, like I said, she's 10 now. And then I have a son who is 6. And my son and I are pretty similar. And my daughter is she loves animals. She does not like people. I don't really like animals. So we couldn't be more opposite. And I really kind of fought against it for a long time. That's part of why I thought, hold it, this is terrible. Being a mom is terrible. And not in a negative way, like she's terrible, but this situation is terrible. I don't love this. And I think that God gave me the ability to say hard things in a lighthearted way, because I would never, you don't want to be the bitter mom. That doesn't help anything or anyone. You don't want to put your kids down because that's not fair. They're new here. You know, they don't know what they're doing. They don't even know what day it is. But you also don't want to beat yourself up or say like, I'm terrible at this and I don't even care. So it's kind of like the reason I help other moms or try to is because I needed to kind of move towards that center of acknowledging the struggle and then moving past it to excelling still more like we're called to do. So I don't know. How do I manage it? I just kind of do it when they're at school. They're watching TV right now. I don't even know what they're watching.
So okay. So let's talk about watching TV. So, do we watch any Moana? Because that's really big on my house right now.
Yeah, it was. My daughter is in this thing where she like hates anything princesses. She's like in a rebellion of princesses. So even though Moana's like not girly,
yeah,
she's like over it.
So what are you watching in your house these days?
They love anything with animals. So like, I think they're watching, I don't know, that one where there's a cartoon men and they turn into animals, Wild Kratts or something. I try to stay out of that.
Wildcats. Yes.
It's so hard to watch.
Watch that all the time.
And talking dog movies where they computer generate the mouths to move. I can't even do that.
Oh, and there's one now that doesn't even have words almost the whole time. And I can't remember. It's like with some lizard. It's excruciating. It's excruciating.
Painful. I remember the Dora, where her eyes are like these giant Dora eyes.
Yeah.
They don't even blink at you. Yeah. I don't know. It's just very scary.
That is so funny. I have to say, I cannot relate to this conversation at all. I mean, I'm a little thankful for it with the way that y'all are making it sound right now. But I can relate to Moana, though. That's my new favorite.
It's a good movie. The music is good.
It
is good. And it's funny.
Greatest Showman? Do they watch?
Obsessed with that.
Oh, I know.
We love that one too.
Yeah.
They're into Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh, you know what? I was so anti it and I thought it'd be really stupid. I'm as big of a Potterhead. Can't even believe I'm saying that. I made a wand this morning for my son. Okay.
What?
So that's how.
Okay. Now hold on here.
It's not my first wand I've made.
So
either.
this is very interesting. So a lot of my friends, okay, first off, I'll just be completely honest. When that came out, I mean, that's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, y'all are really late to the Harry Potter party.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, when I was in middle school.
Oh, I was watching them when I was in middle school.
I was like, oh, that's witchcraft.
Oh, when it first came out, everybody was like, so you're trying to become, the devil's friend. And so, yeah, for a long time, I was like, I'm not getting involved in that. It's so good. And none of us are witches.
Yeah.
Even still.
No.
And I got to tell you, the conversation surrounding good and evil and light and dark, I have never had such deep spiritual conversations with my kids as I have in watching Harry Potter, because they're so into it and it's played out so clearly.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's good.
That's really interesting.
Even though we haven't turned into witches, sometimes my sister and I are sitting on the couch and the remote's across the room and we go, Wingardium Leviosa.
You got to give it a try.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't ever come to us,
now,
but we try.
I'm falling out of this conversation.
Oh, yeah. My kid's Avada Kedavraing me 5 times today with his new wand I make him, and then he tries to kill me with the wand I made. That doesn't feel right.
I love this. Well, welcome to the Potterhead Club.
Thank you. Can I tell you, I almost got a second job just so I could go to Harry Potter World.
Oh
What?
my.
I know, it's so sad. I know you're judging me. I'm judging me. Okay. It's as lame on this side as you think I am. But I can't help it. It's so good.
Well, in I've done like the opposite. I was in Harry Potter like as it was coming out, but now I've like super reverted to being a Star Wars fan, which is like way before my time. But like all these movies are coming out and I had to get caught up, and now I'm completely obsessed. So it's like my Harry Potter now to you.
Okay, and I totally judge you for liking Star Wars. I don't.
I know, right?
Oh, it's
You're dead to me.
so good.
That's right.
So good.
Okay, so I want to jump in here, and this is not on our plan, but I really appreciate how transparent you are with us, because that's definitely something we desire in our conversation, so people actually understand that it's not all peachy, right? Mm. And one of the things you mentioned is this idea of mom. You had this idea of what it looked like, and it never happened. And now it's happened a completely different way, which I would assume has been extremely sweet, but at the same time struggling. Is there anything that you could say to people who are moms or dads who are struggling in this, maybe in adoption or just with their children? What would you say to them in some of their struggles?
I mean, it's kind of tricky because I come from, my worldview is that we have a God and he loves us and he's good. And so for me, I would say, get to know that guy and bring your questions to him, because he's not afraid of your questions and he already knows you have them. So that's kind of the worldview that I come from. I would say if you're really struggling, we were created for community. And so when we, in our culture, we are told like, there's no absolute truth. So kind of anything goes and you can basically do it on your own. And I just don't believe that those things are going to result in the fullest life that we could have. And so I would encourage you to find people, get your people. That word tribe is so, cool right now. Yeah. But find your people and just, if you don't have any, that's the biggest thing I hear is moms are lonely. And I think a lot of it, though, is that we are just looking at other people thinking they have it together and we don't. And we wish that they did. We just got to step out, be the one to go first. Don't worry about being weird. They're weird, too. They just haven't shown you yet. But they'll show you if you give them a chance. And so just like me and my neighbors have gotten to know each other. And we are like, we do life together in the coolest and weirdest ways. And, one of them loves Zumba and crepes. And so we had a Zumba crepe birthday party for her because that's what she wanted. And one girl loves making flower crowns and catching fireflies. And so we do that with her. And we realized we weren't even in each other's weddings. Let's have a bridesmaids party and we'll go to the Goodwill and get, bridesmaid dresses for $2 and be in each other's weddings. It's so fun. And I just found my people to be weird with, and we're not all similar, but anyway, I don't know. I just think find your community and do this together. We're not supposed to do it alone.
So I got one word for you.
Yeah.
ChickfilA.
Okay. What about it?
What do you have to say about ChickfilA?
I like their nuggets.
I just like to see what mom's reactions to ChickfilA. Some are like, oh my gosh, I go there every day. That's where we meet. That's where we greet. Everything.
Yeah, my kids are a little older than I get the judgy eyes from the kids with moms with younger kids when my kids go into the play area. Do you know what I'm saying? Why are you letting giant children trample upon the youth? I'm that mom. But really, my kids don't want to be in there anyway. So we usually do the drive-through. But I do love Chick-fil-A.
You're a drive-through mom.
I am.
Yeah. No shame.
No shame.
Oh, no. And we don't do it very much. So.
Well, we always like to make sure that people leave with 5 key takeaways. And we know that you've been extremely busy, and we really appreciate you allowing your kids to watch TV right now. And we're not judging you because of that. My wife does it all the time.
Yeah, it's good.
So tell us, what would 5 key takeaways be that you would want to share with everyone so they could benefit from, that they could walk away from this saying, man, I need to apply that to my life.
Apply it to your life. Okay.
Life-changing. That's all we want.
All you need is them to be incredibly deep. Okay. Honestly, get community. Be the weird one. That's okay. Find people to do your life with. Don't be so hard on yourself. That's what I have to tell myself all the time. But also, if you're not doing nothing, do something. Is this life-changing enough? I think also, honestly, talk to God and don't be afraid to ask him your questions, because the Bible's full of questions. Job, I love that whole book, is full of Job being like, what the heck, dude? And God is fine with it. So that would be number 4. Go take a walk. Be outside.
Just enjoy.
Enjoy life. That's 5.
That's awesome.
Those were life-changing.
Good. I'm so glad. Take a walk. I can't believe I said that. But whatever.
That's awesome.
I feel like that was a whole nother level of deep, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So how do people get in touch with you? I mean, after this conversation, they are going to try to figure out who
flocking.
you are.
They will.
They're going to be flocking. I promise you. And so how do they get in touch with you? What about your podcast, your workout sessions, all of that?
The best way, I love Instagram so much. I love the Instagram stories. My sister always says I say that in front of things like the Instagram, and it makes me sound like I'm 100. So I'm really sorry about that. I'm really only 38.
You can find me on the Instagram.
On the Instagram, and I go to the Walmart. No, Instagram at Struggle Well Project. My podcast is also called Struggle Well Project. So everything's switched over to that. Find me at any of those places. Also on Facebook, but it's not my favorite. I like the Instagram.
That is fantastic. Well, we really appreciate you being with us. We want to remind everyone to subscribe and to review. I mean, how many times can we say this? How many times do you have to say that in your podcast? Subscribe and review.
Every week.
Does it make you mad after you say it so many times?
It does. You know what, though? There's a comfort in the repetition of it to the listeners. So I keep saying it, and they review. So
there we go. Well, we need to make
if y'all
sure
would just do it the first time, we wouldn't have to keep saying it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Subscribe and review, people. Enjoy this podcast. Tell us how much you enjoyed it. There's no way that you sat there not laughing through half of it.
Surely this one was a 5-star.
Absolutely.
Surely.
So
and if it wasn't, keep your opinion to yourself.
Yeah. If you don't have something nice to say, if you don't have 5 stars to give, just keep,
no, it's go to her
us.
podcast and tell her that. Don't tell us that.
Give us 5 stars and then share your opinions on Twitter or something else.
That is great. Well, as we always like to do, we like to give a brief little pitch. Don't forget, if you are looking for insurance quotes that don't sting, try BriteBee out. BriteBee.com, click get a quote, and you'll find insurance quotes that don't sting and where qualified agents are ready to serve you. Guys, we really appreciate you. We really appreciate you, Emily, and for giving us some great joy on this end of the week. And we look forward to seeing everyone soon.